Hello, welcome to Premier Scene. I'm Claire Bueno. As you can see, the heavens have opened in true British tradition, but we are in pole position as we race for some superb interviews with Morgan Matthews, the director, and Claire Williams of Williams Racing as we attend the world premiere of Williams. Watching the film, what came across was just how stoic you're. I have indeed. Oh yes, I did. I wish I'd had my Kleenex.
I've heard that a lot of people need their tissues for this movie. I'm sorry.
No. It was a wonderful story to share and very brave of all of you.
Yeah, and we're not one for vanity projects at Williams, but I think it came very much at the right time for us with the transition between me and my dad in this role, but also my mum's passing as well. For me personally, this has all been, it's a legacy story for us, and I don't want people to forget the involvement that my mum had in particular in Williams. That's been so important to me in this film and why we've done it.
I mean, there is a real tribute to her in it, isn't there? She was a remarkable.
My mum was an astonishing woman. If it weren't for her, the team probably wouldn't exist because she really bankrolled it and gave Dad and Patrick so much advice in the early years. And then obviously with Dad's accident, if it weren't for her, Dad wouldn't have made that accident. So I'm very proud of my mum.
And we see the stoicism of your father as well.
We do. I think that a lot of people know Dad's story, but I think this goes a little bit deeper because it tells the story of his childhood and where he came from, and then all those horrible moments in his early years prior to Williams really taking off, and he just kept going and going. My dad is he's my hero, he's my inspiration. I'm sure all girls feel like that, but he's one of the real fighters in life.
And for you, was this a catharsis making this film?
I was just asked that, and I'd never looked at it like that. It wasn't. For me, it was just hugely important to make it, knowing where we are in the Williams story, that it was put in stone, and it was there and out there for everyone to know, whether that be our employees, future Williams generations, or the fans of the sport. I don't want people to ever forget where this team came from, and that can be just a byproduct. People forget the true story behind a team when you've been in a sport for so long like we have.
I think the inspiration as well is that no matter what you put your mind to, you can accomplish anything.
Yes, very true. It's a very inspirational story, and the SIA, Spinal Injuries Association, is our charity, and I know that they're here and they're looking forward to this because I think it will provide that community with a really important and powerful message that life doesn't need to end when you have a disability. And for me, that again is another reason why this movie could be really powerful for us.
We met was X+Y.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
BFI a long time ago.
Was it pissing down then as well?
No, we were nicely indoors.
Any time I've had a premiere, it always pisses down. I don't know what it is.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Got to say, but not bad luck for you for this film because it's incredible to watch and not what you would expect, is it?
Well, I don't know what people would expect. I mean, I would hope never to deliver a film which is exactly what people expected. And for me, I hope it's a film that appeals outside of the Formula One fan contingent. Although I hope it appeals to them too, because it is really an extraordinary racing story, but it's also an extraordinary personal family story.
I mean, that's what I took away from it from watching it was this. It's just not what you would expect, is it really?
Well, again, I think I certainly didn't know a great deal about the Williams story. And then I read a book that was written by Ginny Williams, who was Frank Williams' wife, who died 3 years ago. And in 1989-1990, she wrote an extraordinary account of her life with Frank, which is really an incredible love letter. And it's not an easy love story either. There was a lot of challenges there, and particularly around the time that Frank was paralysed in a car accident in 1986. And I just found it a profound read and an extraordinary love story, and was compelled to make the film after reading it.
I think what I really enjoyed about watching the documentary as well was just how brave you were with the questions. You weren't scared to ask those questions that some people could find awkward because you were looking for an honest answer.
Well, I think that's partly to do with the time that I spent with the team and with Claire and with Frank, and hopefully the trust that was built during that time allowed me to feel a bit braver. Because Frank, he's a lovely man, but he can also be a bit intimidating. It just has a presence. He's just one of those people, and he doesn't naturally, I don't think, he certainly doesn't seek out, the limelight or an interview, and I think it's quite rare for Frank to be interviewed nowadays. So it was a real privilege, but we spent several hours talking, and I was actually surprised at the depth in which he was prepared to talk about the past and his experiences, because by all accounts he was a very sort of closed man when it came to discussing those kinds of things, but I didn't find that to be the case.
I was saying to Clary, I saw him as a stoic man, really.
Yeah.
He's a person of his time, isn't he?
Well, he is, and there's an incredible resilience that comes with that. And whilst he doesn't display his emotions openly, I think the way that he's overcome adversity, the way that he carries on, the fact that he's been in Formula One for 48 years and is still going to every race is really quite extraordinary.
I mean, it is an inspiring story that, if you're tenacious enough, no, it's okay, don't worry, I'm used to it doing red carpet. If you're tenacious enough and you want something bad enough, you will carry on regardless, and I think that comes through time and time again through this.
Well, that's it. And I found that personally very inspiring. And he's overcome adversity not just in terms of his his physical condition, but also on the track and not winning a race for 10 years. When he first started, not having any money, all of those things. I mean, Frank losing his team, going bankrupt, restarting again, and he's still there and he's still going. And I think for me, that's particularly inspiring. Whatever you do, I think Frank can kind of be held up as an example, to us all.
Talking about the track, I know you've got to sort of disappear really, but you were in such a privileged position as well, to be so close to the action. I mean,
Yes.
Was it thrilling for you as a filmmaker to be a part of that?
Well, it really was, and it was a real privilege, and to be in the pits during those races, and to be at Silverstone with the Williams team, and I think I was getting more excited than most of the people, on the team. But so it was, and to experience that kind of visceral quality of Formula One up close, but also to be with the people who are so closely connected to it, and to have an allegiance, to form an allegiance, it was great.
How did you get involved with Williams for driving for them?
Well, it kicked off last year when I was in Formula 3. I was already working with them, so I was in their junior program, and they were kind of grooming me for this season. And I had a good year last year, and now I'm in the car this year.
Is one of the things that attracted you to being with Williams that they're a family-run business, aren't they? And it feels very strongly that that's still the case. Absolutely,
I think Williams is one of the few teams that is really, it's really a family racing team, and I think that's what's really amazing about it is the passion for racing is incredible, and I'm very honoured to be in the position I am.
And you're in such a unique position to be able to be working in Formula One. Can you share with us just what the adrenaline must feel like when you're getting into a racing car and kicking off?
It's unlike any other feeling I've ever experienced. It's really the moment I feel alive, and I just really enjoy it. I think it's my happy place.
And have you got any advice for anybody who wants to take up a career in motor racing?
Yeah, just always believe. Keep working hard, and follow your dreams. I think that's what it's all about.
And tonight we're celebrating Williams with this documentary. Are you looking forward to seeing it?
I really am. I've heard some good rumors, so I'm looking forward to it.
Bring your Kleenex.
Yeah, so I've been told.